Welcome to Plot's Technology Learning Book Club. We are reading Forgiving Our Parents and Forgiving Ourselves. And I'm just going to read the quick synopsis, summary of the back of the book. And here we go. Freedom is on the other side of forgiveness. For over 15 years, countless people who have struggled with family issues, small or overwhelming, have found hope, healing, and power to move forward with their lives in the pages of Forgiving Our Parents, Forgiving Ourselves. This revised and updated edition of the best-selling book can help you as well. In these pages, David Stoop will teach you to move far beyond failure to forgiveness by understanding the roots of your pain. You will explore family patterns, perpetuate dysfunction by constructing a psychological family tree to uncover family secrets and habits that have shaped your adult identity. As you develop a greater understanding of your family of origin, you will be able to take the essential step of forgiveness, releasing yourself from the chains of the past to live in freedom and wholeness. Forgiving our parents, forgiving ourselves gives us power to become unstuck from behaviors that hurt you and those you love, changing your heart so that you can change your life forever. Wow, that is really good. All right, well, we're going to start here. Start with the introduction. If Dad were around today and did to us what he did back then, he'd be charged with child abuse. No way, I countered. Not our dad. Think about it, my sister replied. Then she hung up. That terse conversation took place more than 30 years, but I remember it though it happened yesterday. The moment my sister slammed down the receiver was the moment my bubble burst. For years, I had thought my dad was a good father. Now I suddenly found I could do so no longer. He had been dead for 20 years at the time of our angry conversation. I did not particularly like to talk about him, for I had very little of him to hold on in my memory. So I was not able to let anyone, not even my sister, destroy what little I had left. Her remark about child abuse had to do with the way Dad used a belt when he spanked us, or at least when he spanked me. I never believed that he spanked her at all. According to my recollection, I took the blame for everything she did. I'm sure she remembered it differently. Dad believed in spanking. The only problem was that the spankings always came with a heavy overlay of anger and a lot of physical abuse. Getting spanked by my father always followed a familiar pattern, almost a sort of ritual. Something would go wrong and he'd look at me with a stern glare and snap. Get down to the basement. I knew what that meant. There was no way to talk him out of it. Begging didn't work. I know because I have tried many times. Even offering an explanation was useless. I can still remember how I felt slouching down, the basement stairs with him close behind me. First, he'd take off his belt. Then, he'd sit on a chair in the middle of the room. I'd bend over, then I'd get the belt across my backside. My dad would remain silent, though all of this, if I cried too much, I'd get more. Jeez. If I didn't cry enough, I'd get more. This is crazy. I remember working out a system for knowing how much crying was enough. This is insane, guys. I'd wail away until he warned me to stop before he gave me something new to cry about. That was a cue to quit, perhaps with a few final snuffles thrown in for good measure. Once or twice I tried to stuff a book or magazine down my pants before heading downstairs, despite the fact that our family went to church every Sunday. I wasn't exactly what you'd call a praying man, but at those moments I prayed earnestly that Dad wouldn't notice. One time he didn't notice until he was almost finished whipping me. He erratically, I don't know how to say that word, ordered me to take the book out. Then he spanked me for that infraction as well. Up until that conversation with my sister, I never gave much thought to those spanking incidents. Actually, compared to what some of my friends reported about the way they got disciplined, I didn't think the treatment I got was that unusual. Everybody got spanked by their parents in those days, and I don't suppose I really wanted to spend much time recalling the sick, scared feeling in my stomach when the time came to go downstairs. Still, when I was getting spanked, at least I had my dad's attention for the most part. He always seemed too tired or distracted to notice me or care about anything that interests me. He worked long hours in a factory. When he came home at night, he was extremely tired. On the weekends, he spent most of his time keeping the house up, working until he was exhausted. Sounds like a parent. The rest of the time, what little there was spent in Potchville, we lived in Cleveland, Ohio, in a small town which porched across the front and a swing at one end of the porch. I can remember my dad sitting on that swing, reading newspapers, or just staring out across the lawn. When he finished with a paper, he would go out to the garage to work on something. We never talked about much of anything. Dad never took time to play catch with me or to notice how I threw a ball or fielded grounder. Alright, that's going to end our reading today. We are reading the introduction of Forgiving Our Parents, Forgiving Ourselves, and we are on the top of page 9. Well, I hope you guys have a great day, a blessed day, and I look forward to tomorrow for our reading. You guys have a great day.